Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Delights Forever promotional series. 10,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot thank you all enough. Doesn't matter if you've been with me since cast 1 or joined in the last 5 minutes. You cannot reasonably know how much you have helped me, and of course how much you've done to help promote what we all know in our heart to be the finest RTS ever to grace a computer screen. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. When I logged in to GPG, God, it was a couple of years ago now. Yeah, it must have been a couple of years ago. Found out that GPG had pulled support for FA. I was gutted. Then I found out about Zep and this little thing called FAF, this amazing thing called FAF, and the work that he and many others had done to put this thing together. I just wanted to try and chip in any way I could, and I can honestly say I've had so much fun doing it ever since. As long as you guys keep watching, and as long as I can, I will continue to make these videos. I was going to do something special actually for 10,000 subs, but it all crept up on me a little bit quicker than expected, and time is a resource in which I am particularly poor at the moment. But we can celebrate with a pro level 4v4 that's all going to go down on a map called Dual Arches. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So love me some new mappage to celebrate the 10,000 bucks. Take a look at this one. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top and this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1 up here in Pontiff White, misclicking and going Cybrin, it's Banana. Or if we take a look at the top right and his rating, we suddenly discern, oh, it's Blackheart, and he's being cheeky. And he's opening first land. To the east, it's Arctic 1 in Baby Blue. He's going Seraphim opening first land. Thirdly, for Team 1, down here at the middle, it's Tiep, the Setton's Master himself, in Cybrin Ferrari Red. And last but not least, down here at the bottom, going Aeon, it's System Failure in Burgundy Red, and he's opening first land as well. So, Team 1 rocking a FIM at the top causeway, an Aeon at the bottom causeway, and two Cybrins in the middle. And for Team 2 down here, rearguard air position down here at the bottom right, and Hallyborange Orange, none other than my good friend Brainfart, and he's going Aeon opening first land. Over to the left, the bottom causeway is manned by Jolly, and he's going Cyanide Scion and rocking this season's very attractive Noble and generally sweet-smelling UEF. He's opening first land. To the middle, not so sweet-smelling, it's Adjutant. He's chosen Fecal Brown to mark his colour this week, and he's going Seraphim opening first land, going second air, and last but not least, it's Double D. Love the name, sir. Love where you're going with that. And he's going Cybrin opening first, second, and third land. So all of the races there present for Team 2. A lot less racist, these Southerners down here. Generally the way it goes. And Jolly's also going land all day. Let's take a look at a map and how it spans out. Basically, this central pond in the middle you imagine is going to be fought over or harshly contested by the two central players. They're probably in the form of a naval battle. But you've got these two ponds in the corners as well, which is kind of interesting because you can imagine the amount of combat that's going to be going on the land on the two causeways here. But you get large fleets firing across each other from the middle centre pond onto the outskirts down here. Well, you've got a lot of units that are probably going to get caught in the crossfires. So it's going to be one of those interesting maps that is going to go one of two ways depending on how the game evolves. So it should be pretty interesting. But we've got ACUs coming forward here in the first couple of minutes or the first 3 minutes, I should say, for Team 1. Tiep moving forward in towards the centre of the pond there, and Arctic 1 heading down the causeway as well. We have one Zooey there stationed from Adjutant, and you can see what he was doing. He wanted to guard these rocks on the island here. That's clearly what Tiep is beelining for. That Zooey wasn't going to be able to protect those rocks from being reclaimed against an ACU, so that's going to continue on. The best he can do with that probably is going to go after some build capacity over here by the naval factory, but Tiep gets that first frigate out in good orderly time. Trident online picks off that Zooey and prevents that unit from taking on any kills. So bombers out for Adjutant heading north, and look at this. So we haven't got any ACUs on the causeway at all for Team 2. Both Jolly and Double D staying in their base, getting that extra build capacity in there, or keeping it in there to help establish the base nice and quickly. ACU also sticking in his base up here for system failure, but Arctic 1 has moved forward. There's a few rocks that he can really take advantage of, although Double D has got an engineer in there, and he's going to pick up pretty much one of those rocks. Arctic 1 will dispatch that engineer, though, before he can start work on the second. And Adjutant wisely starts with some torpedo launchers. He hasn't actually won the race in getting that early naval factory online. That first Zui that made its way up the middle would have spotted that, so he went straight in there for a torpedo launcher. Lost a couple of engineers to that Trident, but shooed that frigate away, and that's going to allow him to get his naval yard in play. Meanwhile, he's going to move forward to the center of the pond with his ACU. And Arctic 1 has managed to take down that auto gun. It's going to get rebuilt nice and quickly by Double D. He's got a number of troops stationed nearby, but look at this. You have got these Tridents in the area, and it'd be so easy for Tiep just to shadow this area here and cause all kinds of problems for Double D. This is why these central positions, I'm assuming, are absolutely vital on this map. Now, bombers coming in from Blackheart. 3 engineers down. Nice pick. I don't know whether I should refer to him as Blackheart or Banana. Certainly would be more comical to refer to him as Banana. I might do that. See how it goes. But 3 engineers down there from that first raid. Another raid coming in. 2 more bite the dust. Definitely that bomber paying for itself. 5 engineer kills so far. Wheeling around looking for another target. There are, however, inties in the area now from Brainfart. At least a couple of them moving up from the back there. A little bit of air engagement right over the top of Banana's base. That just sounds ridiculous. Now I'm going to go back to Blackheart, I think, because that is far too ridiculous. I'll be calling him Banana throughout the course of this one. Doesn't work for me at all. Adjutant has shooed Tiep away from that main island, and those 2 mexes have been dispatched in the process. Needs to be a little bit careful, though. Doesn't want to get suddenly swamped by slivers. We've got 1 bearing down on him now. Of course, those 2 Tridents not going to be able to do anything to a submerge commander. At the stage, T1 submarine's the only way to go. But we've got build capacity being airdropped in for Blackheart now towards the front line. I wonder what he's going with that, whether it's just going to be reclaim mission or whether he has some kind of defense planned. Already, Double D has picked up these top mexes, 4 of them online for him so far. Blackheart looking like he wants to make a maneuver to pinch those. Brainfart dispatching an Inti to deal with that transport. Too late, though, to pick up any of the kills on the engineers. One of those mechs is already capped. 1 down, so Blackheart should be in good shape to secure those islands. Double D, meanwhile, looking to halt the progress, not looking to push forward. He's got a little Maginot line together there. 1 unit of T1 PD and a Cerberus turret T2 PD on the way as well. Also a stealth gen a little bit further back. Like what I see there. Cannot finish that Cerberus quickly enough, though. Zui's lining up on the horizon for him. Cerberus turret opens fire. Question is, how much damage is he going to take? And will he be able to repel this attack? Yes, he will, as Zui's not wanting to take the casualties necessary to unseat Double D from this position. And now we've got a Cerberus turret number 2 being placed a little bit further behind that original unit of T1 PD. Now we've got a little bit of a push down here on the southern causeway. System failure finds himself a little bit mobbed here as we approach 9 minutes, going down into the red already. 2,000 hit points and falling well into the teens now in terms of hit points. And Jolly's going to be able to grab the kill with a beautiful overcharge there. And suddenly Team 1 find themselves a player down with a huge gap on their southern flank, assuming it's not full share, of course. Nice work there from Jolly, although I have to say he wasn't doing anything outrageous. There's a bit of an error there from system failure, especially when you think how easy it is for him to duck into the water. There was no need to die there. Perhaps he was late for an appointment or something and had to go, or perhaps he was just looking somewhere else. Meanwhile, Tiep with an upgraded commander there, torpedo launchers, nanite torpedo launcher on board on that ACU. And you really do see just how powerful that is. It's going toe-to-toe with the group of T1 torpedo launchers, of which there were about 3 or 4 in there, and he's wiped out all of them. Admittedly, he has lost about half his HP, but he's looking pretty safe for the moment. Of course, that's assuming Brain Fart doesn't come in with a whole wave of torpedo bombers. He is up to T2 air, but currently working on air superiority there. He's got swift winds on the field. But this is going to be very painful for Team 2, and it's just the victory Team 1 need after losing system failure on that southern causeway, after he definitely lived up to his name. Down goes the T2 naval factory there for Adjutant, who is expelled from the central pond. That could prove very difficult indeed. Jolly topping the table on score, of course, after that ACU kill, but not on top in eco. Blackheart and Brainfart on top on eco, as you would expect, but Blackheart in the lead, 77, ahead of Brainfart by 10, who's on 67. But this is going to be interesting. Blackheart's actually come forward to take up System Failure's old position, so he's got to now deal with air and this southern flank. But certainly if there's any one player capable enough in this community to do it, Blackheart would be that guy. Large group of interceptors on the field now for our rearguard Team 1 Cybran player. Lots and lots of inties. We actually got T2 Air Tech on the field. Yes, we do. Currently producing engineers at the moment. Of course, Corsair's not going to be a match for those swift winds. Aeon selection a little bit more useful for an air player. Now Tiet making life a little bit difficult at range there with one Siren class cruiser blapping away at Jolly's emplacements. Perhaps an attempt at a little bit of a run by here. A group of strikers with a few Lobos and Archers in the mix as well, skirting around the edge of Blackheart's newly formed base there. And a cheeky little run by from Double D as well. One Wagner here to come in around the top. He's now picking off mexes belonging to Arctic 1. 2 of those core mexes already out of commission. But I gotta say, if I was Team 2, I would be very concerned about Tiep and his progress. Unlikely that anyone on Team 2 is going to be able to wrestle control of that central pond away from Tiep now that he's so well established. This group of strikers for Jolly looking a little bit beaten up now, and they're going to back up away from those Medusas at the front there for Blackheart. And now Adjutant finds his main base under pressure. Salem and a Siren pummeling that forward base. Core mechs going down as we speak, and that was a T2. Adjutant backing up slightly, building some T2 PD, and then going back a little bit further, trying to get some shield coverage online to protect his commander. But he is now, for all intents and purposes, going to be mute in this game. It's going to be very low on mass indeed. Having said that, Arctic 1 is still trailing, or he was for a moment. It's now sort of 15 to 21. Just the minute I say it, it changes. Curse of the commentator, never more so prevalent than in a game of SOPCOM. Adjutant wisely throws up a shield gen a little bit further forward, going to block some of that firepower coming in, but with no support on that shield gen, no assisted power, it's definitely not going to be able to tank all of that damage. That shield will collapse, and indeed that T2 mech's likely to follow it. There it goes. Now surely Adjutant will drop to the bottom of the pile. There he goes, 12 mass per tick generated for Adjutant. Blackheart and Brain relatively close on mass at the moment. But look at this Zooey push around the top from Arctic 1. See how that actually looks to Double D. Well, he's got pretty good intel, good radar coverage around here. That'll be why he's backing up his commander. Doesn't want to let any of this spam get in around the back here and pose any threat to that base. Meanwhile, Tiep continuing to pressure Team 2, moving around. It was looking like he was firing a few shots Jolly's way, who is up here now with an upgrade on his comm. TAC missile launcher upgrade, and is going after Blackheart's expansion here. Zapper's already in play, but not enough to save that mech. Looked like it was only T1 for the moment. More Zappers on the way though there for Blackheart, so soon Jolly likely to be countered on that side of the map. Arctic 1 trying to find that run by. Double D wisely not continuing to press around this side, is thinking about repositioning around the other side of the hillock and then moving around the other side. That's not an ideal maneuver at all. Why is he not bringing his forces down here to defend? I guess he's got T2 rolling off the pad now. We've got hoplites and Wagners, and he feels like he's got enough to defend. He can send all of this back up to the front line. That is why these guys have the ratings they do, and I just talk about SOPCOM instead of actually playing it. Large air engagements over the top here. Double D getting embroiled in a fight with Blackheart, who has vastly superior numbers of interceptors. But has he hit T3 yet? Yes, he has. Both Blackheart and Brain have hit T3, and they are pumping out ASFs as we speak. And indeed, those T2 units were sufficient, or at least I believe they were sufficient, to deal with the Zooey threat. A handful of them left. Energy storage getting picked off there, but that is all. So decent defense there from Double D, who's now though getting a little bit of harassment from a renegade there. T2 gunship Cybern from Blackheart going after that T2 mechs, but that's going to survive on around 1600 hit points. Really notice the difference that a good Navy makes on this game. It's been some time since Jolly dispatched system failure, and he has been unable to apply any force up here at all because all of the reinforcements getting cut off or embroiled in conflict by or with Tiep's fleet. Riptide's now the order of the day there. Floating UEF tanks. Excellent counter for naval units. Trident soaking up the damage for the moment. That Salem would definitely be a priority target as it goes down into the red, but it picks up a nice little cheeky veterancy upgrade. Alas for him, though, not enough. More naval yards on the way for Tiep. Could spell trouble for Team 2. Jolly getting involved in the naval game, but on the bottom down here. You might think, well, is that going to go to any use? But remember, Jolly's UEF, so he can park a few governors in here and hurl cruise missiles over the top at Blackheart's expansion. What I spied for a moment of Monkey Lord, it's just a new shield gen going up there. And we've got naval play up here as well for Double D. Of course, Double D going cyber in those Salems, not bound by the laws of physics or generally the laws of fair play. If they manage to forge any victory up here, they can just sprout their legs and go on the offensive against Arctic One's base. So Cybrin not a bad choice for these causeways, does have to be said. 22 minutes gone in this one. Brainfart running away with things a little bit eco-wise. 245 mass there next to 163 on Blackheart. To be fair though, for Blackheart he's had a lot to contend with. But a few Wagners make landfall here for Double D. Renegades on the case trying to kill them off quickly, but in come Brainfart's ASFs to deal with the Renegades. In come Blackheart's ASFs to deal with Brainfart's. It's a right royal mess in there, and I don't think that's going to go well for Brainfart at all. Especially not with the cruisers all dotted around here from Tiep, and that's exactly what Brainfart was just alluded to. That definitely didn't go well for him, and it's handed air advantage directly over to Team 1. Riptides from Jolly pressing up forward into the body of Tiep's fleet. Not in any significant number though. They're going to get blapped down pretty quick. More Wagners emerging onto the shoreline there for Team 1, but still not in any great number either. Going to get picked off quickly. What have we got going on down here? Brainfart still just working on amassing ASFs. Don't blame him, he's got some work to do now to try and catch Blackheart up. Might be ahead on economy, but he's definitely behind on firepower. Wave of scout planes out for Jolly. Let's actually take a look at what he can see. Got pretty good intel coverage already. But we have Strat bombers there online for Blackheart. Those Revenants circling overhead. And there's that Salem up there that was produced earlier by Double D, but devoid of any kind of anti-air or air power. He's not going to be able to fend off those Renegades, and certainly not going to be able to do anything against those Strats. All he brings in his interceptors just in time for them to get creamed by Blackheart's ASFs. And now suddenly a little bit of stagnation in the game. Players ecoing, working out what, if anything, they can do at this point with the weaponry they've got. This is the thing that really concerns me for Team 2. Tiep's fleet, control the central pond. It gives you so much control of the map in general. And we've got T3 on the way as well. We start seeing galaxies emerge, and the game hasn't shifted in any great way. I hesitate to call it, but I'm tempted to say that's GG. Revenants inbound there for Blackheart, going after Jolly's comm, who recognizes the threat and bugs out. Jolly's heavily upgraded. He's got 21,000 HP at full tank on there, but he did get down into the red briefly. Is any more Revenants alive? Yes, they are, but they didn't turn around in time. Jolly, though, for the moment, safely underwater. My goodness, that was close. Definitely dipped down into the red there, well below 5,000 HP. Healthy regen on that puppy though for the moment, and Flayers T3 SAMs being thrown together hastily to prevent that from happening again. Jolly though very, very close to getting knocked out of that one. That definitely would have been game surely had Jolly been beaten down. And Adjutant trying to reassert himself in this area. And I've got to say, he's done a pretty damn good job. He's protected his core mass. He's got T2 artillery just off the beach there. And he's even got T2 shipyard back online with a whole battalion of Yenzines in there. Yenzines and gifted Riptides from Jolly, so nice teamwork going on there from Team 2. So this might not be as much of a foregone conclusion as I thought, but we do have our first Galaxy rolling off construction line there for Tiep. That's surely going to pose difficulties for Adjutant once again. Adjutant's going to want to get these Yenzines around that battleship as quickly as possible. Won't want to allow that Galaxy to pummel it at range. These islands, of course, providing handy obstacles to ship fire. Cheeky little attack, though, down on the southern causeway from Blackheart. 4 rhinos initially, now down to 3, pressing up here, picking up T1 mexes as they go. Yep, sends over scout plane to see what he's dealing with. You see the range, though, on that battleship. He is in range, though, of course, of the T2 static, so he needs to be a little bit careful. Back to Adjutant. See, does focus that. So you can keep an eye on where the battleship is, just on the edge of the range. Yenzine's coming in to attack, of course. And Brainfart actually sending up a GC up the edge, and he says he's rushing a nuke as well in team chat. Another GC on the way. So you already got the nuke launcher. That's it down there, planned. Yenzines and Riptides taking a lot of cruiser and frigate fire as they try to get to that Galaxy. And now another one inbound as well. Brainfart, though, has amassed a horde of ASFs. So we're going to get a large clash over the middle as they go after Blackheart's Renegades. I think that's going to go badly for Brainfart once again. Double D pushing up top, though, and Arctic 1 looking very vulnerable to Salem attack up here. Nothing, repeat, nothing guarding this top spot. Blackheart is going to have to do something to assist him there. But the main concern, of course, is this GC that's pushing its way up the middle. All of the Renegades and torpedo bombers, Cormorants, focusing on that GC. For the moment, the Renegades having to force fire, ground fire the water. It's that GC not previously above the waves, but here it comes now. Mass kill order out to all able-bodied craft for Team 1. GC gonna go straight after one of those ion reactors. Down it goes, takes the neighboring shield generator with it. Gets a brief blast on that other one. Is it going to get it down in time? Yes, it does. Second reactor down. Still 14,000 hit points. Can it pick up the T2 as well? It's going after the third T3. Oh, man, it takes that down. And what, if anything, has that done to Blackheart's eco? Well, nothing. He's got all the power in the world and then some, so no problems there. Meanwhile, though, in the center, those Galaxies proving just how menacing the emergence of a battleship can be. Adjutant once again looking a little bit thin in the middle. And up top, Salem's and Siren's peppering Arctic 1's coastline. And Double D's also coming up down the causeway as well. Major carnage in this one so far. Huge wave of T1 bombers just sent out front to lure in Brainfart's ASFs once again. Blackheart desperate to retain air control in this one. And I'm not sure it's going to go his way. It might just, it's incredibly close. It will just go his way. It nearly didn't. Blackheart, of course, used to the extra firepower coming off the ocean floor there, or the ocean surface, I should say, from TEP's cruisers, which have all subsequently been destroyed. Cormorant's taking care of the fleet up top, but we've got just a handful of amphibious units making a nuisance of themselves. These T3 mexes under pressure, and a brick coming in as well for Double D. And look at the progress Jolly's making at the bottom. He's moved right the way forward. We've kind of ignored the progress, really. There's been so much going on in this one, but cruisers have weakened the area, and now Jolly's moved up with his comm. He's got the personal shield on there. That commander, a dangerous, dangerous tool. And now we've got a nuke on the way as well. This has fallen apart so incredibly quickly for Team 1. Tiep was holding pretty nicely in the middle. Had the flanks not gone, I'm sure he would have been able to do something to Adjutant, but Jolly has made too much progress. Arctic 1 hasn't been able to hold off Double D. And Blackheart stretched to try and cover this flank, doing what he could on the ground and in the air, but proving just too much to focus on. I don't know if any of them have actually got any nuke defense online, but they're about to get a rude surprise. If not, that GC getting reclaimed there by Tiep, that GC wreck. That's probably what's helping him to throw just so many battleships together. That is an unreasonable amount of battleships. They're not allowed to go on the offensive, though. They are forced into defensive duty. Might be quite difficult, in fact, for Jolly to hold on to this position. So much firepower coming in from those battleships, although a couple of the ones over this side could do with being resighted. A lot of the fire getting blocked by that island, but there goes the nuke from Brainfart. Where's it headed? It's got to be towards the main base somewhere. Blackheart moving his comm wisely. I still haven't detected any nuke defense so far. Looks like this one's probably going to hit. Where's it going to go? Looks like it's Jolly's base at the front, perhaps. No. Yep. There it goes. Jolly's base. Sorry, not Jolly. When I talk about Tiep's base at the front. One of those days. Words are hard. But Tiep eating a nuke in the face there. All four of those core mechs out of commission. Definitely going to cause problems with replenishing his fleet. Blackheart does manage to complete the crab, though. Once again, forcing Jolly off this position. He's going to have to keep it on the move, though. He's eating governor fire unnecessarily. There's an awful lot going on in this one, though. Actually getting some battleships on the field for Jolly down here. Summit online. This really doesn't look too good for Team 1. Coming up to 37 minutes gone in this one. Arctic has all but collapsed. System failure has been destroyed. Tiep's been nuked. Blackheart, well, generally overstretched in every single way. Now Adjutant coming in to face off against some of these Galaxy-class battleships. We did see some of the Summit fire incoming from the other side of the causeway there. Long-range shot landing flush on the side of that ship. Give you an idea on the range there. You see he's straight into range. Can just pick those. I love that's got to be like my favorite unit of the game. I know I've said that about 4 or 5 or 6 different units, but that's definitely one of my favorite units in the game. Something about those guns never gets old. We've actually got some siege tanks emerging from Arctic. It's got no eco to speak of. He's got full bar mass. Actually looks like he's been AFK
Strategic launch detected.
for a while, but there comes another nuke from Brainfart. And that's surely going to ruin Team 1 in every way, shape or form. Meanwhile, that crab emerges onto the beach right in front of Adjutant's base. There's a little bit of point defense in here, but it's mostly T2 artillery. That's all retraining. A wave of strat bombers come out, though, from Brainfart to deal with it, and that nuke is going to connect and take just about everything with it, and clip Arctic 1. I thought he was out of the blast zone, but he wasn't. Just inside that. Wasn't doing a great deal anyway, but Strat Bombers, Revenants coming in after Adjutant, who's in major difficulties here. 7,900 hit points left. How many Revenants left, though? That is the question. Another wave incoming. Adjutant dodges to the right, avoids most of the fire, down into the red. 2,900 hit points, but no more strats. One more incoming now for Blackheart, but just a couple more would have done it. And Adjutant quickly throws together a shield gen, and that should be enough to save him. Next Revenant comes in, releases its bomb, gets shot down in the process, but of course one bomb nowhere near enough to affect a T3 shield gen. Oh, it's actually a T2, excuse me. But either way, Brainfart shifting the focus now with his build capacity back onto air production. He's certainly done an awful lot of damage with those 2 nukes. Monkey Lord out front there for Adjutant. Tiep wisely giving it a wide berth with those Galaxies. 40 minutes gone so far. And another Monkey Lord out, this time for Blackheart. Brainfart reckons he'll have air soon. That's a lot of Percivals moving up the southern causeway. Of course, they've got pretty good cover now, thanks to the 3 battleships down here and the governors. Adjutant's base, though, still suffering pretty heavily thanks to this Galaxy bombardment. Brainfart coming forward to harvest the wreck of Blackheart's crab. I only really see this game going in one direction at this point. few bricks up the top for Double D. Now they are bearing down on some build capacity of Blackhearts there. Revenant picks off one of them. Just about in range of the cruiser though, giving it a little bit of support. But on come the Perseus. And despite the amount of crossfire coming in from the Galaxies, I don't really think there's enough there to stop them. Out comes the Monkey Lord and fires a blast. Wisely backs up. There's too many Percivals for it to charge headlong forwards into that pack of bots. But it's not going to last anyway. Down goes the Monkey Lord. Blackheart's comm is back up here. And there's surely not a lot left that Team 1 can do. We've got ambassadors and shockers flying overhead. Blackheart does manage to finish another crab though. Jolly trying to chase down the comm. Banana takes a couple of rounds of strap bomber fire as well. He's down to around 4,000 hit points. But a shocker coming in over the top that's going to drop him down well into the red. 1,200 hit points. Blackheart dancing around trying to avoid incoming fire, but you can't avoid that many strap bombers forever. And Brainfuck picks up the kill, leaving Tiep all by his lonesome in the center and just generally being overwhelmed now by outrageous amounts of Yangzines and Restorers. Well, very nicely played. It was good work from Jolly early on to pick up that kill, perhaps based a little bit on a mistake from system failure. Underestimated how much was coming his way. Didn't make a play for the water. Got to give it to Tiep and Blackheart. They did a pretty damn good job considering the scenario, the situation they were left in. It's a screenshot of the week right there. There we go. Tempest fire incoming as well from the bottom, blapping those Galaxies. Where is Tiep's comm? Well, he's underwater. Firing torpedoes as he goes, but there's just way too much all around him for there to be any prospect of escape. Commander's going to be the last thing alive. There it goes. Very entertaining. 46 minutes on that one. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.